And good evening. This evening on Newsline, a couple of controversial matters dealing with city government in Rapid City, including a $5,000 settlement paid to this former employee. The largest mobile convention in the area's history rolls into town, literally. And Peter lost his pumpkin shell at Storybook Island today.
But up first this afternoon, the Rawhide Village subdivision near Gillette, Wyoming is not a disaster area. That's according to President Reagan today, and no loan money will be coming from Washington to help former residents with relocation costs. Methane and hydrogen sulfide gases have been seeping up through cracks in the ground since February. All 700 residents were ordered by Campbell County commissioners to leave the area by the end of July. 2 cases of hydrogen sulfide poisoning have been reported so far. Today's announcement came as a shock to many former residents. We spoke to one of them over the phone today.
The people that I've talked to, they've all found a home that they want, that they can live with, and they were waiting for the president to sign the declaration so they can get on with the financing. They weren't just waiting out there for somebody to hand them a home. They went out and they found something, and they were just waiting for the declaration so that they could go on with the financing and stuff. And now I don't know what they're going to do.
The Federal Emergency Management Agency had recommended the turndown, saying the area is not a health and safety hazard. We'll be updating the story tomorrow from Gillette. The city of Rapid City and a former county employee have settled out of court in a case that could have become a major lawsuit. As Newsline's Steve Boyd reports, Donna Messerly gets a large monetary settlement.
This story really begins in 1985 when Donna Messerly, seen here in a 1987 news conference, filed a sexual harassment and sexual discrimination complaint against Rapid City. The city settled out of court for $2,300, and 2 years later, Messerly applied for a job as a police officer. When Messerly wasn't hired for that job, she filed another complaint alleging the city had retaliated because of the 1985 suit. Today, the Rapid City Council awarded Messerly a $5,000 out-of-court settlement. The vote by the council was a 3-3 tie. Mayor Carlisle broke the deadlock.
I vote yes. Meeting is adjourned.
Later, Carlisle discussed the decision. He said it had nothing to do with the fact that Messerly had worked on his campaign.
It had no way, shape, or form anything to do with the decision. The decision was purely a judgmental call from the city attorney's office, and I concurred with that judgmental call. And I personally feel that we did the best thing for the citizens of Rapid City in terms of any further litigation or higher dollar amounts.
In settling with Messerly, the city did not admit guilt, although City Attorney Ray Woodson said he didn't think the city could win this case without spending far more on legal costs than the $5,000 settlement. Woodson would not say why Messerly was not hired as a police officer, except to say that it was not because of any discrimination. Messerly's lawyer declined comment, and Messerly herself could not be reached for comment. In Rapid City, Steve Boyd, Newsline.
Well, the Messerly case isn't the only story at City Hall today. It didn't come up at today's meeting, but there's lots of controversy over the proposed appointment of Jerry Wright as the operations engineer in the Public Works Department. The mayor is proposing a revamping of that department.
No, in which area?
Carlisle told us he feels Wright has the qualifications for the job, as outlined in his reorganization plan. However, the latest opposition to the appointment came today in a letter from the Black Hills chapter of the State Engineering Society. In this letter, written to the mayor, the society feels the operations engineer should have a professional engineer's license. Carlisle disagrees.
And Bill, one thing, it's not a public works director position. It's the operations division that he would be heading, which is one of 3 divisions within the Public Works Department that we would be looking at.
That does require a professional engineer's license, though, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't.
The letter from chapter president Scott Keller points out that obtaining a professional engineer's license is no guarantee, and chapter vice president Tom Oliver agrees.
I think not everybody passes the bar exam and various other professional exams, so there's no 100% guarantee that he would pass the exam if he takes it.
The society feels the city would be shortchanged by not appointing a person with the proper professional credentials to the job. Carlisle says he has one idea why there's so much opposition.
Well, I think that there's opposition simply because he did work on my campaign, and he was a visible element within the campaign, and he did write letters to the editor in support of myself, and I think that that's probably why there is opposition to Jerry Wright in this particular appointment.
The mayor says if his reorganization plan isn't approved, that he'll begin work on another plan.
Rapid City has the new fire chief. As we told you Monday, Jim Tisch is Mayor Carlisle's choice to fill the vacant fire chief's position. The city council approved that appointment this morning. The 7 council people present made it a unanimous vote, and Tisch will take on the new title effective July 1st. Whether it was a major blow or a minor setback has yet to be seen. For the second and final day, a key witness in the first-degree murder trial of Gerald Menard refused to testify. The jury is now deliberating. Newsline's Helene Duhamel reports on this final day in court.
Like yesterday, Chris Menard was led over to the courthouse and right back. He continues his refusal not to testify against his brother, Jerry Menard, who is charged with the first-degree murder of Ranson Rich. Initially, both brothers were charged with the stabbing death, but Chris Menard earlier pled guilty to the lesser charge of aggravated assault. The state says the loss of Chris Menard's testimony definitely hurts their case.
I think without Chris Menard testifying, the jury didn't get as complete of a picture as they would have been able to have received had he testified. But I don't think it absolutely crippled our case. I think there's still enough evidence before the jury to where they can make a decision based upon what was presented.
A defense motion for acquittal was denied. Attorney Wayne Gilbert says the state's case is built on circumstantial evidence, but alternate juror Greg Carlin doesn't think so.
Well, I think it'd be a very hard decision to make. There's like 40 pages of instructions to go through. I think it's going to take a long time. In my book, I was leaning towards guilty. I think the premeditation was shown. I think the state did a good job. I don't think it was all circumstantial evidence like the defense was trying to say. The fact that his sister and his family got on the stand, and just listening to Maria's testimony about the knife, you know, now she didn't see the knife, but she saw the action. That's what made me lean towards guilty.
The jury is now deciding if Jerry Menard is guilty or not. He exercised his right not to take the witness stand. Helene Duhamel, Newsline.
And if there's a verdict by 10, we'll have it for you. Elsewhere in the courts today, an Ogallala man got life in prison for the 1983 murder of Leland Tenfingers. 28-year-old Gary Cheyenne was earlier convicted of second-degree murder in the death near Ogallala. Along with the life sentence, Judge Richard Batty today ordered Cheyenne to serve the remaining 9 years of a 15-year sentence he received for a second-degree murder conviction in 1976. Cheyenne will be eligible for parole in 10 years for the life prison sentence. Next on Newsline, a bit of history ends at a very well-known Rapid City attraction. We'll have that story when we come back.
And we'll take you live to a silvery world being set up just outside of Rapid City, Wally World.
Tonight, Our World 1972. The Watergate scandal begins with a bungled break-in, and terrorism shatters the spirit of the Munich Olympics. Then,
he's dangerous.
Somewhere between innocence and murder,
Let somebody in, Ricky.
is Heart of the City. And on 2020, sexual harassment on the job.
I'll be out of your way in just a minute.
Don't hurry. I'm enjoying the view.
Learn how far is too far.
Followed by Newsline tonight on KOTA and the Great American West Television Network.
Perkins ate summer salads.